Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of the Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to check the video out today. We're going to be talking about medium diving crankbaits today. This is something I've never talked about before on the channel, and when you talk about medium diving crankbaits, you're talking about a crankbait that probably sort of hits that 5 to 10 foot range in that zone, but it's not as simple as that. It's like people say, oh, if I want my crankbait to go 5 to 10 feet, I need to use a medium diving crankbait. But there's other situations where you want to use a medium diving crankbait in shallower or deeper applications. And I sort of want to give you guys a little seminar on when and why you want to use a medium diving crankbait. So we're going to get into that in the video today. Also, guys, quick reminder, I just want to let everybody know I've started up my on the water lessons again. If you're interested in booking one with me, just go to my Facebook page, Randy Blockett Professional Angler, and shoot me a private message. And also, please check out the new fall and winter lake map breakdowns at fishthemoment.com. These are maps I build for fishthemoment.com, and they give you some 40 good GPS waypoints to begin your search. It's a really good resource to learn more about your favorite lake. And also, if you buy one of those maps, you can have my email address if you got any questions on it. So I'll put the lake map breakdown link in the description of the video. Really appreciate that. Okay, guys, medium diving crankbait. Here, I'll give you a prime example, guys. Here's my favorite one of, that I use particularly. This is the Megabass Super Z3. I'll also link this in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description if you guys would like to pick up one. But the Super Z3 or similar crankbaits like a Strike King Series 5, something like that, this bait is going to run anywhere between, say, 7 to 12 foot deep, depending upon the line test that you use and the length of your cast. And that's another thing when you're trying to determine crankbait depth, guys. It's not just what it says on the package, because the manufacturer will put like a recommended depth range on it, but the depth that a crankbait attains is greatly influenced either deeper or shallow based upon how long your cast is and how heavy or how light your line is and the type of line you use. So, for example, if you use monofilament line, your bait's not going to get quite as deep. If you use fluorocarbon line, it's going to get deeper. If you make a 30-foot cast versus a 100-foot cast, it's going to go deeper or shallower. So those are all considerations to make, and they can vary greatly. Say, for example, like on the Super Z3 here, if you're throwing this thing on a long cast on 8-pound test line, I might be able to get it down into 12, 15 feet of water. But if I'm throwing it on 20-pound test line and making a medium cast, I maybe only get it down to like 6 or 7 feet. So it varies quite a bit with that. So when do you need to use it? Now, that's the whole thing about it. When do you want to use a medium diving crankbait? Now, obviously the obvious answer to that is when you want to hit the medium depth in the zone that you're fishing. So that's pretty obvious, but there's a lot more to that, because here's one of the big things about a medium diving crankbait that a lot of people don't realize is crankbait, the crankbait depth and the crankbait appeal to a fish a lot of times has to do with the size of the bait. So if you're using a crankbait that has a medium diving, capability to it, you're going to have a certain profile or certain size of your lure. Now, sometimes this has a big impact on it, because sometimes you want to get the bait down deeper or shallower and you want a larger profile or smaller profile. Say, for example, if you're fishing dirty water, you may want a larger profile even if the bait goes down a certain deep depth. And if you fish in clear water or colder water, you may want a smaller profile lure. So that's another consideration when you pick a medium diving crankbait. So here is my rule of thumb as far as how I choose a medium diving crankbait. First of all, one of the things that I like to do in crankbait fishing is I really want to be digging that bottom hard, super hard. Probably 95% of the strikes I get on a crankbait is when the bait is either hitting the bottom or deflecting off an object. You rarely get a bite on a crankbait when it's just swimming through the water. You will occasionally, but not very often. So the medium diving crankbait is a good choice for me if I'm fishing in shallower water. So let's say, for example, I'm fishing in 5 foot of water, and I know this Super Z3 is going to run in 10 feet of water. By using this deeper diving crankbait, I can get down quicker into that shallow water, and I can constantly pound it. I can constantly stir up little mud puffs by hitting it. And if I was using a shallow running crankbait, say like a square bill crankbait, the percentage of time in my cast where that bait is hitting the bottom is going to be minimal. So let's say, for example, we're fishing 5 foot of water. I've got a shallow running or a square bill crankbait. If I make a long cast, my bait is not going to hit the bottom until it gets about probably 25 to 40% into the cast, and then it's going to hit the bottom a little bit, and then it's going to come up. So out of a 100-foot cast, my bait on a square bill is only going to be hitting 5 foot of water, maybe 25% of the time. But if I use a medium diving crankbait like the Super Z2, this bait is going to hit the bottom in 5 foot of water probably within the first 10 cranks. So I'm going to be knocking the bottom with this in shallow water 75 to 80% of my cast versus 25%. So that's a real key element there. And again, like sometimes, you want a deeper diving crankbait that's got a smaller profile on it. So that's another factor with it. Now, another time that I use a deep diving or a medium diving crankbait is either shallow ledge fishing or paralleling banks is a good thing, because if you're using a medium diving crankbait and say you're paralleling a riprap bank, which is one of my favorite things to do with a medium diving crankbait, I can probe a lot of different depths. And if I'm fishing a riprap bank, where say I'm making a long cast down that riprap and my boat's in about 10 foot of water, if I have a medium diving crankbait, I can hit 3 foot of water, 5 foot of water, 6 foot of water, 8 foot of water, and 10 foot of water on the same cast along there. So if you're using a smaller bait, say you're fishing that riprap bank with like a DD22 or a deep diving crankbait or a square bill, the depth range is going to be limited a lot more, with what you're doing on there. Another time a medium diving crankbait works good is on shallow ledge fishing. So it's a really good, like on any TVA lake. It's good on those places that have those drops from about 4 to 8 foot deep. That's one of my top areas to do that. And in that rare occasion that you have suspended fish. Now this happens a lot if you're fishing around boat docks or around standing timber. You can do really well on a medium diving crankbait, cranking it through suspending timber. I did really good in the Bassmaster Classic. I think it was 94 or something when we had it down at Lay Lake. I was cranking a medium diving crankbait through the standing timber in deep water and doing pretty good with that. But anyway, guys, so definitely something you want to have in your arsenal. A lot of people get locked in on square bill crankbaits and deep diving crankbaits, and the medium ones sort of like get overlooked a lot. But it's a good bait to have in your arsenal. And the 2 different times a year that I like to fish a medium diving crankbait is usually sometime during the pre-spawn, and then again sometime during the later fall, like we're in right now. It just seems like that's the zone that they get in pretty good with that. But anyway, guys, medium diving crankbaits, definitely want to have them in your arsenal. Definitely just another tool when you get in the right situation for it. And hope it helps out. We'll talk later.